Hello everyone. Today I'm excited to share a Tcl package that I recently developed and released publicly on my GitHub. The package is called WOB, and it provides an object-based framework for developing graphical user interfaces, or GUIs, in Tcl, especially for OpenSees. You see, in OpenSees, the load command is overwritten. The load command is used for loading binary packages. So, with it being overwritten, it breaks some functionality of the Tcl programming language, most notably the ability to load the tk package, or the package used for creating GUIs. With WOB, widgets are created in fresh Tcl interpreters, enabling GUIs within an OpenSees analysis, with no problem. It also helps to compartmentalize widget creation. In other words, the variables in the GUI do not directly interfere with the rest of the code. Before I jump into actual examples, I want to go over a little bit of the documentation. So the documentation is available on my GitHub, and it looks like this. So there's only two commands within WOB. There's the widget command, which creates widget objects, and there's also the main loop command, right here, main loop. And main loop enters the tk event loop and allows you to interact directly on the command line with the widgets. And then the widget object is how you actually build the widgets and how you interact with the widgets directly. So if you're not familiar with Tcl object-oriented programming, you have a class, so there's the widget class, and then you create new objects, and it creates new commands, unique commands within Tcl that then you can use to access the object. And with WOB, the widget object is tied directly to a unique widget interpreter and also tied directly to the widget window as well. So the main command that I'll be using is, or the main method I'll be using is the eval method. This simply evaluates code within the widget. And you can really use the eval command for pretty much everything. There are some convenience methods such as set and get for variables. And then there's additionally this is a more advanced thing, I'm not going to get into it in this video, but you can create aliases to interact with the widget that allows you to directly change things in the widget using commands within the current interpreter. So let's look at some examples. So for my first example here, this is just a very simple example. I'm loading in the WOB package. If you don't know how to load in packages, I have a video on that, so I will provide a link for that. And after I require the package and load in the commands, then I can create a widget object right here, and then evaluate the tk get open file command within the widget. This will open up a file dialog box that allows me to get a file name from my operating system. And then after I get the file name, I destroy the widget and display the file name. So I'm going to run this in OpenSees, and you'll see it opens up my open file dialog. And so I can select this file here, hello world, and then you'll see that it displays the file path. So that's the first example. The second example, this creates a little option menu, a tk option menu widget, and this allows me to select from a variety of options and then to return the analysis type. So it stores the option menu option within the variable analysis type, and then I can access that outside of the widget. So I'll run this in OpenSees, and I can choose from the dropdown, let's say pushover. Also, this works in just regular tclsh, which is the standard Tcl interpreter, or Tcl shell. And it'll do the same thing. So, third simple test here. This is just showing how you can use the tk clipboard command to access your operating system's clipboard. So here I can set a variable within the widget to the value hello world, and then I can append the clipboard with the value of that variable, and then finally enter a event loop, and then I can paste hello world into any application. So if I run this here, so I have this widget window open here. This is just the standard widget window. I can paste hello world there, I can paste it here. It directly accesses the clipboard, which is nice. Hello world's not a command, but let's say exit here, and there we go. For the last example here, I'm going to use an example from the Tcl wiki. So there's a bunch of different examples on the Tcl wiki here. So this is the one that I got, a little stopwatch. If I go back here, there's a ton of examples here, even like model railroading and car racing, and this is a great way to kind of play around with different TK functionalities and see how people create widgets. So I have a very simple example here, the little stopwatch, and all I did is I just copied the code here from the example and I pasted it directly into the eval body of the stopwatch widget. So, and then at the end, I enter a main loop. This allows me to interact directly with the stopwatch. So if I run this in OpenSees, then I have this widget here. So I'm going to zoom in here so you can see a little bit better. If I press start here, it starts a stopwatch. You can see the numbers are going up. I can directly query the stopwatch from the command line as well. So if I want to know what the time is, boom. It tells me what the time was showing on the stopwatch at that moment. If I want to see the state is 1, that means it's running. If I say stop here, and if I run that again, state is 0. So you can see that in the code here, you have a time variable and a state variable. So, then I can destroy the stopwatch from here. I can either close out using the X here, or I can do it from the command line. Destroy, boom, window goes away. If I try to do that command again, it would throw me an error because the object is gone, the widget's gone. So I'm just going to exit out here. So this really is all there is to it. If you're curious to know how the code works, it's not very long. It's a total of less than 200 lines. So it uses a little bit of Tcl object-oriented programming. So I create the widget object, or widget class rather, and then I set up some like keybinds and stuff to destroy the to exit and destroy the widget, and I create method for evaluation, method for creating aliases, stuff like that. And then the main loop enters into a file event loop using the standard input. So this has some more complicated like file I/O stuff, file input output, and event loop programming. So this is a great way to basically spoof an interactive session of Tcl or OpenSees, and you can even have it return values as well. So that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment, or if you have any input. And it's on GitHub. You can fork the project if you want to add to it. And I'd love to see what people do with OpenSees and TK. So Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and hope you have a great day. Bye.